Welcome back to Basement Algebra. Today we're going to talk about the discriminant. Now, the discriminant comes from the quadratic equation. You'll notice that the discriminant is underneath the radical sign in the quadratic equation. This comes next lesson, but I want to make sure we understand the discriminant. Now, the discriminant is pretty simple. I just need to know b, I need to know a, and I need to know c. So b squared minus 4ac, that's the discriminant. That will give us a lot of information. All right, next, let's establish a couple rules. One, if we have b squared minus 4ac, and when we solve this, if it's greater than 0, then I know I'm going to have two zeros or two roots or two solutions. That means the parabola is going to cross the x-axis twice if it's greater than 0. If I have b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that means I want to have 0 zeros or 0 roots or 0 solutions. That means the parabola is not going to cross the x-axis at all. And then finally, if I have b squared minus 4ac and it equals 0, that means I want to have 1 0 or 1 root or 1 solution. That means when I draw the parabola, it's just going to touch the x-axis at one point. Okay, so you're either going to have 2 roots, 0 roots, or 1 root. And it all depends on what 4 or b squared minus 4ac equals greater than or less than 0. Okay, so you just need to know what is b squared minus 4ac, and once you know that, you'll know how many roots you have. You don't know where they are, but you know how many of them you do have. Okay, so let's do our first one. 5x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. I want to find the discriminant. That tells me how many zeros there are. Is there 1? Is there 0? Is there 2? Well, let's find out. So we're going to use b squared minus 4 times a times c. So b is negative 2, a is 5, and c is negative 3. I take those and work this down. So this is going to be 4 over here. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Negative 20 times negative 3 is 60. So I have 60 plus 4, which is 64. Now remember, that is greater than 0, so that means I have 2 discriminants. That means there are 2 zeros, 2 solutions, 2 roots. That means if I graph this parabola, I'm going to have it, and it's going to graph, or it's going to cross the x-axis twice. We also know that it's going to open up. We also know that it's going to cross the y-axis at negative 3. All that information I can get. Okay, now let's do another one. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. I've already identified a, b, and c. A is 1, b is 6, and c is 9. So let's put it into the discriminant. So we have b squared minus 4 times a times c. b is 6, a is 1, and c is 9. Work this down. This is 36. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. 36 minus 36 is 0. So our discriminant is 0. That means it's going to touch the x-axis one time. It's going to open up. It's going to cross the y-axis at 9. And it's going to come down and touch the x-axis at just one point. Not at 0, just at one point. This is how many roots or how many solutions or how many zeros I have. Not where it is, just how many I have. All right, so now this is our third example. Now I'm going to go a little bit slower now because this is where Mr. Cozy is going to put this into Ed Puzzle. So I'm going to go just a little bit slower and pause so you can answer some of these. So I have 3x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. I want to identify how many times it crosses the x-axis, or the roots, the solutions, or the zeros. So first of all, we got to identify a, b, and c. So a is 3, b is 5, and c is 3. Good job. So now we got to put these into our discriminant. So we have b squared minus 4 times a times c. Okay, so we come in here, we put 5 in for b, put 3 in for a, and 3 in for c. 5 squared, what's 5 squared? 25. Negative 4 times 3, negative 12. Negative 12 times 3 is negative 36. When I solve this, what do I get? Yep, I get negative 11. Now again, that's a negative. When we know, when we have a negative discriminant, how many times is it going to cross the x-axis? Right, it's going to cross it 0 times. It's not going to cross the x-axis at all. So we know it's going to open up. It's going to cross the y-axis at 3, but it's not going to cross the x-axis at all because this is a negative right here. You like being in my classroom? Okay, last example. 2x squared plus 5x minus 1 equals 0. Let's identify A, B, and C. Good. Now put it into our discriminant. That would be b squared minus 4 times A times C. Here's the easiest way to do it, and then just plug things in. So this is a 5 because that's B. This is 2 because that's A. And this is negative 1 because that's C. So 20 or 5 times 5 is 25. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 minus or times negative 1 is positive 8, which makes this 33. Okay, so I have a positive discriminant. That means it's going to cross the y-axis or the x-axis 2 places. That's all it means, not 33, just 2 places because it's positive. And since it's positive, I know it's going to cross 2 places, open up, cross the y-axis at negative 1. Okay? All right, now Mr. Cozy is going to ask you that your final question this week on Edpuzzle is, where did you do this video? Did you complete the video in your living room, kitchen, out on your back porch, bedroom, dining room? Where did you complete this video? That's the last question for this video.